Hey, everybody, and welcome to REZOcast episode 49. I'm here with Triton, and we've also got our special guest Rally with us, and also filling in for Hove, we have Wilson 309. Thank you so much for coming on again. Both of you are returning guests, but this time, Wilson is not coming on as just an outside guest, but as a member of Resolute. So congrats for getting in, man.
Thank
We're
you.
so happy to have you here, dude.
I'm excited, man. Me and Sam both. We're very excited.
Yes,
Welcomed with open arms, so we appreciate that.
absolutely. And I don't want him to steal Rally's thunder because it's also awesome having him on again. Rally, we can't seem to get you on without having another guest on. There's always somebody else trying to steal your thunder. First it was Davis, now it's Wilson. I don't know what's going on, but thanks for jumping on again with us, man.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I have to share screen time with other people. It's fine.
Oh, I got kind words out of Rally first thing. I didn't get off my podcast or anything like that.
Shocker.
No, the old jokes this week have been old.
Yes, and they are great. Triton, how's your week been, man? How are you doing with all this Destiny 2 hype? We have the live trailer, we have all this other stuff. Did you get a chance to take a look at all that stuff? Because I'm hyped beyond belief. Like I can't wait to jump into all of it. And I feel like the trailer is the first thing we need to talk about. And so you want to kick it off? What did you think about that live action trailer?
Well, the week's been great because Destiny 2 certainly is ramping up their marketing everywhere. I feel like so many things are being sponsored by Destiny 2 right now. Like I watch a lot of Sports
Yes.
Center. Tonight's game, I think Ohio State, Indiana, like every other commercial break or every other highlight with ominous music has Destiny 2 in the background. But the trailer was super awesome. I think, anytime you can get live action to some of the scenes that we were anticipating or some of the things that we had kind of seen, it's pretty sweet. So I've been really, really hyped. It's impossible to avoid at this point. I'm buying all types of pop figures. I'm scheduling time off. So I'm certainly in the swing of the Destiny 2 hype.
Yeah, what about you guys? Rally, Wilson, how's your week been? What do you think about all the new D2 stuff? Just the saturated market that we're in right now with all this D2 hype.
Go ahead, Riley.
I've been avoiding as much as I can, to be honest. I saw a few things just in, just recent stuff. Um, the Bungie weekly announcement stuff I read today, but for the most part, I've been kind of ignoring it. Plus, I've been busy at work, so it's not like it was a free for all like I normally have.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been loving it, man. That trailer today got me so pumped. We were kind of talking about it a little bit before
Oh
the
yeah.
podcast. Gave me goosebumps. Like, I was at the studio. I'd be working on a piece, get done with a step, put it away in the kiln, and go watch the trailer again, and just get so excited for it, man. It was awesome. I think they nailed it. They did a
Yeah.
really good job. I was kind of sad that we didn't get some Zeppelin, but Beastie Boys is dope, so I'll take it. That actually got me like really pumped. So
Yeah, you aren't the only one that was missing the Zeppelin from the old D1 trailers because a lot of people are like, man, I thought we would get this, or that, and some people are kind of disappointed. Some people saying it kind of sounds like Star Trek, and honestly, it does remind you of that because a lot of the colors in the trailer are like super bright and like reminds you of that new Star Trek movie that just came out a little while ago. But honestly, it's a mix of like a ton of different things, especially when I don't know if y'all read, there was an article by the Rolling Stones that interviewed the director for it and was talking about what his influences are for it. And it really was like a mix of a lot of different things. And he just kind of got creative in those 2 minutes. And man, I loved every bit of it. And I want to talk more about it. But before I do, real quick, just wanted to shout out that if you don't know Rally or Wilson very well, both of them were on previous episodes of RezoCast, and there's some great interview stuff about them and how they got, or not Wilson how he got in yet. We can ask him how he got in. No, but just about their place in the Destiny community and everything. But
Send
real
nudes to
quick,
Claw.
but yeah,
How you doing? Claw.
but real quick, my week. I haven't played the PC beta. We've got that to talk about too. So many great things with that to talk about. But I've been stuck on my PS4. Didn't get to play the PC beta, but plenty of others here did. And I know Hove is going to jump on here later and just ramble on about it. He's so excited to talk about it. But
It
for
was
my
awesome.
week, it's just been playing the D1 a little bit, kind of like my farewell run through. I said I wasn't going to play it anymore, but I introduced it to a friend a couple of like maybe 2 weeks ago and deleted a character to show him like the beginning of Destiny basically. And it made me like whenever he was done with it, I was like, well, I'm actually going to delete it and like run through a new character completely for myself just to see what it's like after all these expansions have been added on and what it's like going through from the beginning now. And I've been having a ton of fun. I like reached rank 40 and only like light level 360 right now or something like that. But it was like a blast just running through the story. And so I had a lot of fun with that. And that got me super hyped for D2. But back to the trailer real quick. There's just so much there. Like for me, like it was the Sentinel, like really stole the show for me, just busting through like the ceiling at that one part. And like he had so many scenes that were just just captivated me. I mean, the Warlock was cool too at the end there, like jumping with the sword and the way everybody's stuff was lighting up. But
yeah, I feel like the Hunter didn't really get much time to like shine in the spot. She didn't get much time to shine in the spotlight. Like what you're saying, the Titan had several moments coming up through the ceiling where they all popped their, like the Scion was peeping down the scope, and they all pop their supers, and the Scion looks out from the scope like shit, and the Titan just gives him the like, you know what's up, you know what I mean? Like that, those parts were really awesome, and like using the class ability, popping the shield, and everyone getting behind it and stuff. Like it was amazing, man. I feel like they knocked it out of the park on that one. Like I want to watch it a million times. The production value that went into it. You had mentioned that a lot of people said that it kind of reminded them of Star Trek because of a lot of the bright lights, and they made good use of that classic J.J. Abrams lens flare. You know what I mean? So it did kind of have that vibe because of the soundtrack, but I liked that you could see different locations. So like when the dogs were chasing them, the shark dogs definitely looked like they were on the what was the watery planet or moon, Titan.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So
Titan's the one, yeah.
Yeah, Titan. So it was like super watery. So they were like definitely in like one of those tube hallways. You know what I mean? And the dogs were chasing them, and there was a scene where a Warlock had, you could see like whether it was like old Russia or the Cosmodrome. There was like those overpass pillars. There was no road or highway on them. You could just see the pillars behind them, and I thought like they really captured like the post-apocalyptic shit is going down vibe.
Absolutely. Raleigh, I know you're staying away from all of it, but did you have any parts of it that really stuck out to you? Or did you not even? Were you
I watched it. Actually, my wife and I watched it maybe an hour ago, and she thought it was an awesome commercial. She pretty much just doesn't really like the game. She thinks it's stupid. But even she was like, that would get me excited to play the game. And I know she'll never play it, but yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was really well done. I kind of liked like a lot of the live action integrated with the CGI stuff. That I thought it was really well done. Yeah, it was well done. I mean, obviously it's Activision and they're throwing to the Call of Duty type commercials, but it still had its Destiny feel to it. You know, that special, different feel to it than the Call of Duty ones do.
Yeah.
Call of Duty ones, I feel like they oversaturate them with celebrities now, and just kind of get stupid. But I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. Like some people I saw on, my wife's in chat. I just saw it in chat.
I saw that.
She's defending herself. I don't think it's stupid. Lies.
All right, she doesn't like the game as much as I do. How about that? Is that a better way of describing it? But she thought the commercial was fantastic. She really liked the Beastie Boys part of it, to be honest. That kind of drew her in. But yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, it was a good commercial. Really, I to be honest, I would have liked to have seen it maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. It would have been even had a more of a like I can't wait feel. Like now, I almost feel like I'm not waiting really. It's here. It's a couple days away, man. Like it's gonna be a lot of fun.
I think that's what they're doing though. It's like they're saving the absolute most hype they can for the last second for those people who are just holding out. Like, I don't know yet. Like I have a friend who I know didn't pre-order yet, and he says he'll play the game, but I'm like, I'm not sure if he really will. And I sent him a link to the trailer, and he was like, dude, that looks really good. Like, and so I think it's like the final thing to like push those people through. Like, come on, dude, come on, and gets the rest of us like, let's go, let's jump in as soon as it's available, the night of September 5th, basically September 6th morning.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a hard time not staying up really late.
We all are, man.
It's not cool, man. I almost wish they wouldn't have done that because I saw that and I was like, oh man. It's not like I go in the office a whole lot. I work from home a lot, so I'm pretty lucky to have that as an option. But still,
Yeah.
Sleep till Brooklyn, man.
right?
What did you try? Did you get a chance to check out the live action trailer? Or?
Yeah, I did. I didn't try to watch it too many times. I think it just I don't know. I like to watch like a trailer. When I watch a trailer, I like to watch it one time and just react to it. I feel like that's kind of just to get you hyped up. I don't do like the videos where you like break, people or do a real good job of like breaking down different things. I think anytime it's live action, it it's for Destiny because you're supposed to become legend. You get to see people really have on those costumes and to really have the effects over top of it. I think add another layer of immersion that you don't really quite get when you're just watching kind of the gameplay because that's what we're doing. So I think this was the best live action one I've seen of like the 3 or 4.
I agree,
especially definitely a step up from the one that we got from I think the Taken King.
Agree.
Definitely a step up from that one. I mean, you can kind of see like the Captain America fights, the fight choreography a little bit with the Sentinel, which I think is cool. But yeah, I thought it was really well made. I thought it was cool, and I like the opening. I think they've really done a good job putting kind of Cade be the front guy, and I think that really makes the trailer a lot for me. It made a lot of our initial teasers and stuff like that too. So using Nathan Fillion and using him as probably your most developed personality of those core Guardian or core Vanguard people, I think is probably the right play, and I enjoyed it.
He's a very likable character, Cade Six, and so is Nathan Fillion.
Yeah.
And
I thought you were talking about me.
Those well, yeah. And he's handsome, not as handsome as Raleigh, but you add those elements together and you just get a really good character. I mean, he's really good at what he does, and Cade's been crushing the show lately.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's really relatable too. I feel like they did something with his character about the time of Taken King, especially as my D1 playthrough is coming to an end. Realizing how they started molding his character then and how it's really come to complete fruition here at the beginning of D2. And it feels like he's the one that I like in this fantastical world that's so sci-fi, like he's the most like human, like relatable person there. And he kind of sucks you into this world that's so crazy and makes it like more believable, almost more not necessarily that this would happen, but like it makes something relatable where it sucks you in more. So I like
and everybody can relate to comedy in some way or another, so that like comedic relief is perfect. Like Cade may be an exo, but he used to be a human.
Yeah. The last thing I want to say about the trailer real quick is the use of light in it, like, is just incredible when all the supers are lighting up. Like you were saying, Wilson, in that one scene where the sniper's looking down the lane. It's almost like a reverse
laser pointers and stuff pointing.
Yeah. And they do like the reverse Darth Vader thing from Rogue One, where when he lights up the lightsaber in the dark, it's like all the Guardians lighting up their supers in the dark. And it just looks so cool. All the lights are when like there's a scene where the Arc Strider is just laying down the staff in the darkness. And it looks so cool. Like just I know it's CGI effects there, but the direction that they took with it just looks so incredible for me. I'm super hyped. And it makes me like want to use supers that I don't really care about, like Arc Strider. Like I'm like, I wasn't that into it during the beta, but now I'm like, oh dude, I want to
get to play it on PC, Lego. It feels so much better.
Really? Okay.
Yes, it
so
does.
let's make this transition here then. I know Hove's gonna want to jump in when he gets here, but we got to make this transition to the D2 PC beta because you were saying somebody earlier said the trailer felt like Destiny, and that's what I keep hearing is that the PC beta like felt like Destiny. Maybe the console beta didn't as much, but it just felt so smooth and so clean on the PC beta. Rally, let's hear. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I absolutely think it did. I mean, the console beta to me felt just off. Something felt off, and in that regards to the supers and the grenades and stuff, just everything felt off. Hit registration, the guns didn't feel as crisp, and that was my biggest complaint about it when I played that, and then I played Destiny 1, and every time you'd shoot a gun, it just felt really precise. and where you were pointing is where it was hitting. Other than the random ghost bullets and lag and whatever else, it just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
And the beta on the PC just felt like that again. I had a little bit that I still think felt a little off, but only once in a while, and it was very, very rare.
Yeah.
The grenades felt not overpowered, but a little bit stronger, just enough that you put a little bit of
Nice.
damage on two guys, and you throw like a like a firebolt, and you could actually clean up those two guys. You could enough damage on those guys where you could kill them. They wouldn't one shot anybody, so it was kind of nice.
Yeah, they were hitting for like 90, the fire bolts.
Right. Yeah. Same
And
with
it was like
the
that Goldilocks zone
arc
of
bolts
like,
were doing the same. Arc
yeah,
bolts felt really good.
yeah, it was like the Goldilocks zone of like not too
Yep.
powerful, not too weak.
Yeah, it was just perfect, I thought. And the games being a little bit longer as far as Crucible goes allowed for multiple supers per game. I had a few where I got 2 build up, which was really kind of nice. My biggest issue is I sit on supers way too long for whatever reason. I'm used to doing that in Destiny 1s because you get it so quick. Your friends would all create a bunch of orbs. You go grab them. You'd have your super in I don't know, half a minute or whatever if you wanted to. Where now I shouldn't sit on it as long as I do. I noticed that I was doing that quite often. I need to use it kind of as quick as possible in the right moment. Obviously, not just use it to use it, but it just felt a lot better. I mean, and dude, the frames. As much as I am a console guy, seeing 100+ frames per second while I'm playing and visually seeing it, it felt so smooth.
The
I
fidelity.
didn't. Yeah, I just didn't feel like I would buy it on PC, and now I'm like, crap, am I gonna buy this on PC now too?
They're
So
winning you over.
dude, I can't help it. It really looked good. I mean, even my wife said when we were sitting here watching it the one night, she was like, "Wow, that looks really clean," and it did. It just looks really clean. And I don't even have the greatest monitors. I have good monitors, but not. I can only imagine what it looked like on some of these really nice 34-inch curved monitors that people have that just would be
4K.
insane. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like I can only imagine how it would look on that, but
Dang.
It like the thing that got me the most excited about the PC beta was that like we should probably come out and say this: the changes that they made will also be reflecting in the console version as well.
Yeah.
So we're not saying, oh, the PC is the definitive place to play Destiny 2 because it was so much better than the console. They had just integrated these changes already into this particular beta. I noticed in PvE, going into the strike, I did it more times in the PC beta than I did in the console beta, because in the console beta, it felt very tedious. It felt like it took forever. You barely got your super. Going
Did
into
you
it,
feel like the power ammo like economy was a lot better?
so there's guys with the yellow bar, the major enemies. They always drop power ammo, guaranteed. So there's also orange bar enemies, and I don't think they're as powerful as the yellow bar majors.
yeah, I noticed that. I didn't know what the heck was going on there when I saw those.
They have like a higher chance to drop some heavy ammo or some power
Okay.
ammo as well. So I was definitely getting my power ammo a lot more, thus making the strike go a little quicker. There was times I got my super like 3 times, almost 4 times, because we were all making orbs and stuff, and it felt like they really took into consideration the feedback that we had given them from the console beta. So the thing that has me the most excited about the PC beta is that these changes are also going to be in the console full release. So I'm stoked, man. Like, yeah, it looks awesome. The frames were fantastic, like liquid smooth awesomeness. Like, it was cool seeing, they said unlimited frames, but a lot of people were being capped out at 200, and they think that's possibly just a beta thing, and it's not supporting SLI, which is 2 graphics cards running in tandem. So it's not supporting that yet, but I was kind of on the fence about if I was going to get it, and after this, like, absolutely, like, console is still going to be my main, but if I want to kick back and have, like, a really high graphical fidelity experience, no problem. Like, it's a no-brainer.
That's awesome. So would you say that it felt like, like your Guardian was powerful again? Like, because that was a lot of the complaints from PvE before is just like, man, I just didn't feel powerful as I didn't feel like, Space Wizard or whatever Deej would always say,
Right.
to get you hyped.
I definitely noticed the grenade changes more in PvE. So I'd throw on a sticky grenade, use it for the boss, and I was doing
Yeah.
like almost 1k damage with the grenade. So
Dang.
it's really effective. Sticky grenades are really good against bosses now, so definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. But I felt very powerful. It felt like a lot of the weapons got an overall buff to them. Like the scout rifle felt a little different. It felt like it was kicking a little harder. It was actually usable in Crucible this time, the full auto one, not the
See,
Titan one.
so was the full auto one, it was firing like, it fires like in a weird burst in the console one. Did it still fire in that weird timing?
No, it didn't.
No, I was
It
gonna say
didn't.
Rally actually had. Go ahead, Rally, take this one because
Yeah,
you had
it was
commented.
like the console one. It was doing like this fire, and then like a real quick second fire, which was really
Yeah.
throwing me off. It didn't do that in this, but it did kick a bit more. However, I don't know if you looked, Wilson, but you could actually move the stability up quite a bit. When I did that, it didn't kick nearly as hard, but the range really drops off.
Gotcha.
Right.
But yeah, it wasn't doing that weird double shot, like shooting thing. I actually
So
got real
weird.
used to that on the console one, and I was like tearing people up with it because of it. But then, so I was expecting that on the PC version, and I was like, crap, it's not happening.
Fusion rifles, they just toned down the ammunition on them. It didn't really feel like they had any other changes to them. Like I was still mad. They
Yeah,
still
yeah,
felt
they
good.
they
You
went
just didn't get as
they
much
went
ammo.
from 6 to 4, I believe.
Okay.
So
So I
instead of
felt like
getting
that was a good
6,
start. You know, it's
yeah,
supposed
I
to be
agree.
powerful.
I'd rather see that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I heard from multiple people that they were toned down a little bit. You don't think they were?
Didn't feel like it.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I think somebody who knew how to use a fusion rifle was still capable of doing exactly what they did before, where it wasn't just I'm gonna kind of aim at them and
Yeah.
it's gonna hit them regardless.
Nice.
It seemed like the distance and the range was still there, the power was still there. You had to be a little bit more precise.
Okay,
That was
cool.
kind of it.
And that's what I wanted. I wanted
Same.
it to still be as powerful, just take just a tiny bit more skill to use, not just like, oh, my 2 bolts hit them and
Yeah.
they're dead.
Oh, let me hip fire this and kind of aim at them. And,
Yeah, let me just drag it across my screen and grab a crispy
yeah,
double
they
real
were
quick.
still very strong and very good. Still probably to
Awesome.
me the best power weapon as far as Crucible goes.
Yeah.
Especially for that map. The map was really cool. Should
Yeah.
we talk about
Let's
the
talk
map
about
little
that for a
bit?
second.
Yeah. So, Rally, what did we say? It was kind of almost like triangle shaped, kind of, with
Yeah,
like a circle in the middle.
and it gave you some breathing room where
Yeah.
you weren't coming around a corner, and when you came around that corner, all 4 people were right there because that's the only place they really had to go. There were multiple avenues, multiple areas where you could get up higher than people and lower than
Okay.
people. I really liked the map. I thought that map might be the best map I've seen so far.
Played really well for control.
It played really well for control, really well. I'm pretty excited if the additional maps that are coming are very much similar to that. I'm going to be really happy. Did we just lose Lego?
Oh, possibly.
Yeah, it seems like we might have.
We may have, but like it wasn't really quite like triangle shaped. It was kind of like an isosceles triangle with like the top
That's a
cut
big
off a
word.
little bit. Like that, there was that completely long stretch that was on the backside from A to
Yeah.
C that was
Yep.
wide open, really good for scouts, pulses, snipers, that sort of thing. I had a really good time pulling the C power ammo and then looking down that way. You had really long engagements. And then going into B and A, you had a lot of like narrow corridors and close combat engagement. And then in the middle, there was like a circle with like what was that, like a big obelisk or something?
Yeah, and with like a flat platform on the one end of it, right?
Yeah, it had a flat platform, so it was kind of like open within a cramped area a little bit, and I just felt like it made for some really interesting gunplay. Like, people still need to kind of figure out though that you don't need to have everyone on the capture point to capture it.
Right.
You know what I mean? You only need
There was a
one.
lot of that.
You only,
I think that I did notice though when you still do that, you get super energy. So
oh, for actually being on the point and
yeah, for capturing it. So if you got more than one person on there, you may possibly get
right.
multiple people getting more power or more super energy. I'm sorry. So I don't know. I mean, I didn't take notice to see if that was a consistent thing, but I did notice it. Granted, I didn't notice it. I didn't pay attention enough to see if it was when there was multiple people on there or if it
Right.
was the person that actually got the capture.
Gotcha. But it felt like a fantastic map. So if, like the other one, the first one that we got in the console beta felt a little crowded and had me a little worried for 4v4.
I didn't really like that, to be
But
honest. I didn't
this
like the
map size felt a lot better and a lot more like I think it was you saying it, Riley. You're like, I actually feel like I can have a 1v1 engagement now and not have to worry about
I can
coming
have a
around the
1v1
corner.
or even a 1v2. Like if you could actually take on two people
Yep.
and not feel overpowered by the team shots because you had these little angles and little things you could kind of crouch behind and hide behind real quickly that would allow you to take out one guy and then even still damage, you could focus on the next guy and pull off, even if you had half your health gone, you still were able to pull off killing that guy if he had full health, if you just played it better.
Yeah.
So
And like
it
some of the
allowed for that,
changes,
which I don't think the other map did at all.
some of the changes they made did kind of help with that a
Yeah,
little bit.
I
Like
think so
you,
too.
but like, yeah, Lego, you'll be happy to know. I mean, there's definitely moments, man, where the clutch was real. There was a lot of
That's
clutches
awesome.
going
Yeah.
on, so it's definitely feeling good, man.
That's
PvP
really
map
cool.
was awesome.
Do you think that a lot of that, like I know Rally, you were saying it was the map. Do you feel like any changes they've made to like the beta just playing in general had a part to do with that being able to do more 1v1 stuff, or do you
It
think
could be
it's
a couple
mainly the map?
things. I mean, it could be the guns felt a lot crisper. So that could be part of it. So if your gun plays better than somebody else's, you're going to win.
Yeah.
I also feel that with the grenades being moved up just a little bit, you could, and I hate to say it because this is all anybody did, you could almost prime two people with a grenade and then take their health down a bit and easily
Yeah.
challenge both of them and quickly take them both out. It definitely felt a lot more like Destiny to me, and
Yeah.
not. It felt like what I wanted it to be. I didn't like towards the end of Destiny. Everybody hated the fact that everybody got really good at basically destroying you with a grenade and then one-shotting you,
Uh-huh.
and it was so quick. Where this just felt like you still had the ability to kind of do that, but you couldn't one-shot somebody. You still had to fight them, and if you had that happen to you, you could win the fight in return if you played it smarter,
Right.
or you had
Yeah.
the ability to get out of there and not challenge them.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was watching a bunch of MTash videos like about like using basically different abilities
Just gonna
like
say that.
in D2. Like so even though you couldn't one hit someone, if you were smart with your abilities and use them in the way that they're very effective for your class, then you could outsmart two opponents at once by using it correctly. Like you were saying with the nade, if you prime both of them in just the right way. So it sounds great to me.
Yeah, no, it was really good.
I feel like a lot of the map design from what I'm seeing so far from the console beta to the PC beta is that they're not only set up with 4v4 in mind, but they're also set up for these new abilities in mind. So on the B capture point, you could put two Titans to put those big walls up, and they're not getting through, before you capture the
lightning
point.
grenades B was really easy to lock down with lightning grenades too.
Yeah, like Titans were very strong on that map. I'm not gonna lie.
I still think pulse grenades are stronger than lightning grenades.
I think so too, man. Dude,
You get two
and
of them, and they just pop, 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 pop. When they go off, they pulse so fast.
you still get two of them, right?
Yeah, which I don't still. Hove and I were having that, or Wilson and I were having that discussion last night. Like, and Hove, I think. Why do they still get two without an armamentarium? Like, it doesn't make any sense. The reason they had two before was because everybody ran the exotic armor, and now
I don't know why.
now they
But
just
I like
get
it.
Unless you were a warlock.
Unless
Right.
you're Warlock.
Well, now
That
I mean,
thing's
technically,
power.
I mean, think about it. Warlock now gets a little bit of an escape ability. It basically gets a Twilight Garrison.
And I want to throw a quick shout out to Sam real quick. We were playing the PC beta together, and she had a pole dancer coming straight at her. She jumped off the edge backwards. The pole dancer lunged, fell short, and she twilighted right back onto the map as he plummeted to his death. I lost my
Nice.
shit, dude.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's so
She
good.
took
Very
Wilson
good.
to school last night. So now it's done.
Well, is there anything else we want to change? We want to talk about with the PC beta real quick. I know it's huge, but we're getting the console in just less than a week. It's like days away, like 4 days away.
Right.
So
The only thing I'd like to say, I think, is I hope that it didn't feel the way it felt because it was on the PC.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I hope that console feels the same now. As granted, it's not going to look as good, but that's fine. If it feels that much better on PC and doesn't feel that way in console, they're gonna have some problems.
Because me and Raleigh were finding that hit registration felt on point. If you were pointing there, your bullet hit him.
Right.
There was a few times in the console beta when I was using my pulse that like the first and third bullet of the pulse would register as a crit, and the middle one would just
It just disappear.
like it doesn't make any sense. Like the first and second one should hit, and then the third one should miss. Like it was really strange. So that's what me and him were talking about. We're like, we hope it's not a frame thing because you do have more room to correct your aim if you have more frames. That is
Right.
that is a fact. But
Yeah.
last thing I want to say about the PC beta is I used a controller the entire time.
We do need to talk about that, I feel like, because that is a big debate going on right now online. There's the whole mouse and keyboard versus controller versus aim assist versus using the input to fake that you're using a controller, but you're actually using mouse and keyboard and still getting the aim assist. Like, it's huge right now, that debate. What do y'all think? Y'all actually got to play it with the controller, with a mouse and keyboard. What do y'all think about everything?
Felt awesome with the controller. Like it was literally turn it on and it was completely native to what you were used to on the console version.
Could you even tell like the difference?
Yeah, you could tell because I played with both. I tried with the console or with the controller and with the keyboard. The big difference is, I mean, I literally can instantly turn around with a mouse. Instantly. Like, if there's 3 people around me, I can instantly turn to each one of them without any delay whatsoever, almost.
Yeah.
And as long as my mouse is set up the right way, if you get really good with a mouse, I don't care if aim assist is there or not. It's not going to matter. Like, I get with it, like with Overwatch. Apparently, it had some issues with the fact that they could get these, what is it, XIMs that they could plug it into, and it would give it aim assist along with having the mouse and keyboard. Okay, if you're willing to spend $100 to do that just so you can say you're better at a video game, have at it, man. Like, if it gets to the point where it's actually competitive and there are tournaments, you are not going to be able to take that with you to that tournament. So
they'll ban it, right?
Like, sure, it may be an issue where you're playing against somebody at home and you lose because of that, but so what? If you're going to go into a tournament, you're not going to be taking that with you. You're not going to be allowed to take it with you. If it's going to be a mouse and keyboard only, it's going to be just that, and you're not going to be able to plug it in. To me, it's just a stupid argument that realistically the really good players are pissy about because they may lose to somebody when they're playing at home. Who cares? Dude, get over it, man. Like, seriously, just get over it. It's not that big of a...
This is a perfect episode to have Rally on. He can just be like,
I mean, it's such bullshit. Like, it really is. Like, I saw a couple comments from like professional gamers that have 60, 70,000 Twitter followers making these comments about how, oh, it's going to ruin the game, it's going to break the game. Dude, if you're that good and you're going to be going into tournaments, are you really worried about it at a tournament? I mean, if you're playing for money, they're not going to allow that to happen. It's really a non-issue. Now, these off-site random tournaments that they currently do now, that's a different story, because I think you get that whole deal with everybody's playing from home, so you can't really look at it. But if you're doing that, don't you think maybe you should have like some kind of rule in there where it says you have to show your keyboard, you have to show something on a webcam or something, some kind of rule to put in place if they really need to. I mean, it's not a big deal to me. I mean, it's really blown out of proportion and really stupid.
Wilson, what do you think about all of it?
Like, I think Breyer had put out a video today saying that a good solution would be 2 different playlists, one with aim assist, one without. And he even said in his video, he's like, look, I don't like either solution to this. You know what I mean? I don't want to split the player base and things like that. But, well, look who just joined us, actually.
Very official.
Hey, what's up, buddy? Looking all
Oh my god!
Man.
For those listening in right now, Hove just jumped into the podcast in a complete button down with a tie, his hair done.
Wait, I'll be
My
right
hair's
back.
not. My hair's
I'm
definitely
just kidding.
very
I'm
far
just-
from done.
like a Calvin Klein model.
A little bit, yeah.
So
No,
small.
I just got off work, so I figured I'd get in as soon as possible. I'll get changed afterwards.
Well, we're glad to have you here. We're just talking about the mouse and keyboard controller debate right now.
I know, because you know what I did for you, Lego?
I bet you listened in right before you got on. Yep.
And that way, at the beginning of my recording, I can say, Lego, this is where you should start. Boom. Podcast. All right. Do it.
All right.
No,
so
I was
Wilson.
gonna say, Raleigh had said something about people plugging in the Zim to get the aim assist on a keyboard and stuff like that, and he makes a valid point that it's not going to be viable in a tournament scene, and which I totally agree. I was a little bit of a controller elitist about it at first. You can ask Hove; he was there for my conversation the first night. I just assumed it was a bunch of people who said that mouse and keyboard is better than controller, and it is 100% if you're skilled with it, 100%. But I was a little jaded to it, in a sense. I was like, I don't care, I don't have any sympathy. My entire life I've been ridiculed for using a controller, so
it's hard not to feel
this is just desserts, but it is a legitimate issue.
It is, yeah.
It is
I think the best
issue.
way to put it, like you were saying about mouse and keyboard being better, I think it has a higher skill ceiling.
Absolutely. There's a bigger skill gap as well.
Yeah.
There's a bigger skill gap.
If you can be better on mouse and keyboard and more precise and faster than you can be on controller.
Right. And Sam had made a good point. She's like, look, there's a lot of console players that are just thirsty for some Destiny right now. And if their computer can run it, they're going to jump on and they're going to plug a controller in and they're going to have a good time and they're going to play it. But once that comes out on console, I guarantee you a vast majority of the people, after they put in a couple months worth of time on console, they're not going to want to jump over to PC and do it all over again.
I agree with that. I do see the issue though, because it does give somebody who wants to have an edge. It does give them the edge to plug in a Zim, use it like a mouse and keyboard, but still get the aim assist. So
but if they're doing it in really one of these big tournaments, they can't take it with them. So they're gonna be at a.
But so far, we're still a long way away from a tournament in person.
I agree, but my thought process was these guys are complaining about it from a competitive standpoint, and at some point, if it does grow to that point, those people are going to be at such a disadvantage for having done that to themselves. One, and two, they're not going to be able to do it.
Right, they definitely won't be able to do it. But
what's worrisome, I think, for me is, if I'm playing on PC and say I'm playing on, any other way than using a Zim with, aim assist, mouse and keyboard, then those are the people that are going to be playing trials with this extra advantage over me.
That's going to happen. That's an absolute...
Exactly, and that's what people are worried about. I think that's absolutely my realistic.
There's no way around that unless they do remove it completely. But if those guys really need to win that bad, whatever, man.
Yeah, but there is precedent for it. Overwatch, I'm sure this was mentioned.
It was
started exactly the same way, and they realized quickly it had to be changed.
Is there any way that you can ban that particular way of doing it, or is people just gonna figure out how to trick the system anyway?
Well, I think that's the problem. I think it registers the Zim as a controller, the game.
Yeah, there's no way to tell.
It's a driver thing.
So
the driver on what you plug into your PC installs a driver, and it's not a keyboard and mouse driver. It's coming up as a game controller. So I don't really know if there's anything they can do in an update. I'm not sure. I'm not a software engineer. They might just have to take it out. I don't know. I don't want them to, because I don't want people that want to have a sit back. If I'm playing on PC and I'm grinding strikes and I've got 3-4 hours worth of time, I am not going to be sitting upright.
I can't see them taking it out for that reason. For just a lot of the chill console community that also wants to play it on PC. I'm definitely one of those people that, I'm highly considering getting a PC. Just if I know that I can use a controller and it feels fine, it feels good, better than fine, it feels like Destiny, then it's why, especially during a lull, if there's a lull in content coming out, then I'm gonna want to have something else to do, and PC would be great for that, so I don't know.
Well, my thought is, couldn't they just for anything competitive wise just ban controllers?
Or just
my question is, are they going to make a competitive list without aim assist? That's the thing that...
Yeah, I don't think you'll ever see that happen. But if the problem is that Zim registers as a controller, you just can't use a controller on PC.
Yeah, that would
Well,
be fine. I would be fine with that.
Not like you can't use it. I mean, as far as competitively.
Right,
Yeah.
you couldn't use it in the competitive
Yeah,
playlist.
no
Sure.
controller.
So I'm not gonna lie, if I'm on my Lighthouse game and some dude's like definitely got the advantage of versatility with a mouse
It would
and
suck.
keyboard and the aim assist of a controller and keeps me from going to the Lighthouse, my ass is gonna be a little burnt. Not
Yeah.
gonna lie. Like my ass is gonna be a little burnt. But
Here's the thing with all of this though is Bungie's always thinking of solutions that was something we never would have thought of to some problem. Like we had this problem with something else recently. Like we talk about it all the time, and whenever they come out with something, we're like, oh yeah, that was something none of us thought of. Like, and I'm hoping that in this scenario, like something gets figured out with that, because I think people are gonna want to play with controllers on PC. Maybe they'll eventually move over, but that initial jump to get them there, like it helps a lot. Or for casual play, like Wilson was saying.
I absolutely agree with you as far as, because I've said that, I don't know what they're going to do. They're smarter than me. I just think the problem is here, it's more technical limitations as opposed to, when we talk about some of those solutions that we don't have any idea about and then they come up with, it's within their game where they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas this has technical limitations to it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
use whatever, don't apologize.
Unless you're cheating.
Yeah, unless you're cheating, then you better be sorry.
Well, real
Please
quick,
apologize.
Yeah. We didn't get to talk to you. We're talking about the frustrating part of all it, literally like the one minute frustrating thing. What about the rest of the PC beta for you? Like, I know you're dying to talk about it, Hove. What did you feel about the PC beta?
I loved it.
How much did you love
The
it?
creepy smile he just had.
I know he like let that smile grow for a little bit too.
I loved it.
No, I thought it was great. I mean, there's the obvious difference between console and PC, which as I tuned in a little bit, I heard you talking about, 200 frames and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, I think, and not being a technical professional, but it seemed to me like a lot of the things they changed were more just gameplay related, and the new build just felt so much better to me than the console build. And that was something that after the console beta that was a concern of mine, is it didn't feel like Destiny anymore. It felt, I don't know if I said watered down, but it kind of felt watered down. It felt like more like Halo. It felt less creative, less flashy, less exciting. And I think it got that back without going overboard on supers and recharge rates and everything. I was very, very happy with the PC beta. With it being shorter and my schedule, I was only able to play on my Hunter. But Arcstrider itself felt a lot better. But even just playing one character, like, I didn't have a problem sitting down and playing PvP for 4 hours and having a blast doing it. Yeah. Whereas it felt more like I was being a beta tester, like professionally for the console beta. Like, oh, I got to play this to like see what it's like. I didn't enjoy it as much.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I mean, this is the first time, in all honesty, like I've been very excited about the game coming out, just because we've been talking about it for so long and having new stuff, and it is Destiny 2. But that was more like not an artificial excitement, but just like excited for the sake of being excited. After playing that, this is the first time that I'm really like, God damn, I can't wait for the full game. Like, I'm going to play the shit out of it. I'm very happy with it.
Do you feel like the live trailer like hyped that experience even more for you?
Yes. Yes.
I know
Beastie Boys.
Yes. I know you didn't talk about that at all either, so I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, I loved the live trailer.
Awesome. So what you were saying about the PC beta, and how much you enjoyed it, you feel like we were saying that we feel like it's, or at least our main hope is that it's that feeling's gonna transfer over to console. Most of those changes were like changes, not like just the frames per second making the difference or anything like that.
Right. Yeah, that's like I said, I'm not a professional in those instances, but that's kind of how I felt. It was all stuff that should transfer over, and that has me super excited.
You're dressed like a professional.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, but not a professional PC person.
You could be, though.
You're
that
a
could be your
qualified
persona.
professional. You're a qualified professional, which means you're qualified to do it all.
I don't think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna have to agree with Hove on this and say I don't think so either.
Rally, you are the actual like tech professional, and you're
I
the
know.
worst one at all this.
Well, real quick,
I specialize in one thing only, man, not this.
there's like a lot more to talk about as far as like the TWAB had a ton of stuff in it. But before we even get to that, some other stuff that happened this week. First of all, there's spoilers like everywhere. Like if you like don't want the story spoiled for you, I sat down to watch a YouTube video because I was like, I want like a little bit of information, but I didn't want like a flood. And the person whose YouTube video this was, and it's not their fault, they titled it what it was. You know, I just thought I could handle it for a second, but it literally was narrating the story of what happened, like in a mission. And I was like, no, I don't want to know that. I don't want a play-by-play of what I'm actually going to play, you know? But there's a lot of images going around. There's like some stuff for the raid that, you know, no one, it's so, everything's so like you have to hide yourself everywhere. I'm not going to spoil anything here.
I'm picturing you trying to contain your excitement and being like, I don't want to blow my load yet. Get me out of here. Like you want to, you know, have it all be, you know, a secret. See it for the first time when it comes out. But man,
Wilson, go ahead. I'm sorry.
What was that?
Did your dong blade feel more powerful?
My dong blade feel more powerful? Absolutely, especially with that Twilight Garrison as well. That's what I'm digging the most about it. I still can't hit shit with that super.
Are you?
I didn't get to play it.
I can't hit shit with that super. I exclusively pretty much ran Pole Dancer.
Pole Dancer was much better. I love Pole Dancer.
Pole Dancer felt good in PvE.
Come on, stripper jokes. Yeah. But I love Pole Dancer.
Right. It felt really good in PvE during the console beta, but it didn't quite feel as good in PvP. And I don't know if it was the map, but yeah, it felt strong. But
did we talk about the map at all?
We did, but you want to...
I would say I like it. I liked it better than the other one.
That's what they were saying.
I think we all did.
Yeah.
I didn't hate the other one by any means, but I think this one felt better, just in general.
I felt the other one just felt too small. Like it just
I hate when
played
that happens.
very small.
Well, my question before Hove diverted me here was, are y'all looking at any of these spoilers, or are y'all completely I know, Hove, we've talked about you staying completely off before and not going for anything, but are you like okay with some and not for others? Where, Triton, including you, where are all you guys at with this right now?
No spoilers. I haven't really jumped on to see any. Haven't really searched any out, so I've been able to avoid them.
Nice.
I guess it depends on your definition of a spoiler, though. Like, if you want to know, like, changes to the game or the mechanics or maybe, you know, that's not considered a spoiler. You take it a step further, maybe things you'll be doing in-game, like activities, and maybe some of the changes that they've made to the activities. Some people might consider that a spoiler. Then you take it to the next level, and you start doing things like the raid and story mode, things that you're going to encounter in the story. And there was some audio files that were data mined, and I haven't.
Oh yeah, audio files. That was crazy to me. I could not believe that. So for me, the story is like the one thing that's off limits for me. Like I don't want to know.
Yeah, I don't want to know a damn thing about that.
Same.
Yeah, the gameplay and everything about mechanics, like give me all of it. I want to know like how things work, plan out how I'm going to level up things. That's great. Activities, I don't really want to see Lost Sector stuff, but I want it. That's fine, you know, even not the Lost Sectors, but all the any other kind of activities it's not exploring specifically. The one thing though, I saw one image of something that looked really epically awesome, and I'm not going to talk about it. You know what I'm talking about, and people, you know, who are listening who may know what I'm talking about. There was an image that was leaked on Reddit that was like something you could see in the map, like that we were given in the beta, but I'm so hyped for it. Like I don't want to know anything else about it. That image like wasn't too spoilery for me. It was enough to just get me super excited about things to come. So that's all I say. Just for those listening that know what I'm talking about, I'm like so hyped for that. It got me really excited. Hove, where are you at with spoilers?
I'm actually with you, which is weird.
That is weird. What?
I haven't sought out anything. But if I see something that is, like you said, gameplay, mechanic, type driven, I'm fine with that. I don't want to know anything about story. I don't want to know anything about specifically story, big time. but I don't want to know anything about, like you said, like how the lost sectors work, like when stuff like that's going to show up, how you get to it. That I want to find on my own. But as far as like, oh, like if someone's like, these are the vendors you'll have, and this is how rank ups work, and this is what you get in packages, I do want to know that stuff. That I would be totally okay with. But story, absolutely off limits completely.
Yeah. And Raleigh, you said pretty much the same.
Yeah, I to be honest, I've been even unless it's blatantly in my face, even game mechanics I haven't been looking at. I've been pretty much ignoring 90% of it. I thought about looking at stuff this week just to prepare for this, but then I realized all you guys are the same as me and don't want to know either.
Yeah, it's true.
I just was like, you know what? Unless I get some kind of specific message saying, "Hey, we're going to talk about this," you know, maybe learn about it or something, I'm not going to do anything. And I haven't. I mean, I don't want to know at all. I really don't want to know any of it.
I'm with you, man. Like I definitely understand that. There was the only thing that I can think of that's like newsworthy other than the TWAB that came out was the Luke Smith Q&A, which I know me and Wilson talked about it before, and it didn't give any like spoilery things away, but he was really blunt, and it's probably the best Luke Smith interview I've seen yet. It's just him doing a Q&A like just off of Twitter, and it's so good. Like his personality comes off so well. Did any of y'all get a chance to watch it? Wilson, I know you did.
Yeah, I did. I felt like he answered some really cool questions. There was a few that were obviously tossed in there as like comedic relief, and I felt like he played off the questions very well.
So well.
We did get confirmation on how the elemental mods are going to work, so you are going to be able to take them off of a weapon and put them on another one to make it that element, which I am stoked about.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm all right with that.
Yeah. But yeah, the interview was the Q&A session was hilarious. I really enjoyed it, and there wasn't anything spoiler in there, so
it reminds me of how like much better Luke Smith comes off like in voice and in person than written down, because sometimes it's so sarcastic and blunt written down that you're like, this guy's a jerk, you know, but then you hear him say it and you're like, oh yeah, no, of course, like this guy's cool.
That's pretty much my life.
Except for the jerk part stays.
For the most part.
here we go.
Another thing that we learned that I mean, it's a little thing, but I'm super hyped about it. Mark Noseworthy's tweet.
Yes.
That you no longer have to worry about equipping your highest light gear when decrypting engrams. It will automatically search for your highest possible light, which is funny to me that it took this long to do it when Dim did it right after that happened. Remember, Dim had like it would just automatically put on your highest light stuff.
Right.
And they have access to the same API and less info than Bungie, so I'm happy about that. That's awesome. Just go decrypt your shit and be done with it.
What's really cool about that is playing through the D1 replay through that I'm doing right now. The struggle is real with that, guys. Like doing that because you know, like encrypting stuff in that way didn't come along till Taken King or after. I can't remember, but it was a while. Like that, it decrypting stuff in that way came on, or at least with light level before it was like the light level would just work differently, you know. And so like now that I'm replaying through and every single little thing I decrypt, I'm like rearranging my stuff. Like it's a pain. Like it's a big pain to do
Open up Dim
every second of the way. I should.
Well, you gotta do it engram for engram. So if you've got 10 blues, you don't want to just decrypt them all. You want to do them
exactly.
You want to do them one, equip it, do the next, equip it, etc. And stuff. So when you're leveling up as quick as Lego was, yeah, it's a tedious process.
Yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to that change.
Big. That's those little quality of life things that I think get overlooked a lot, but I think are some of the biggest changes out there, really.
Agreed. There was one other thing in the Luke Smith interview too. He talked about, I'm pretty sure it's the Luke Smith interview. Someone asked a question about like tribute to D1 players, and they've hinted at stuff like that before, but he specifically was like, we have something cool for you, but I'm not going to tell you what it is, you know? And he's like, and that's great to hear that there's going to be a surprise with that. So I'm excited to see what all is up with that. It just, the way he phrased it got me excited.
It's year 3 Pocket Infinity.
Oh my gosh. No, decent. I still just want a statue of like my D1 character.
I am
And,
gonna
like,
miss just being able to randomly run around like a maniac with a fusion all the time.
I know.
It's gonna be a little bit
Still
disappointing.
run
but-
around like a maniac. You just might
Yeah.
find something else other than the fusion.
That was
Right.
one of the changes. Did anyone point that out? That was how they seemed to tone down power ammo.
Yeah,
a
we
little bit.
talked about how the ammo was removed from
Was what?
it was removed from 6 rounds to 4 rounds.
Okay.
And then we talked about how it wasn't as
And in PvE
accurate
that you get
and-
it more and stuff like
Yeah.
that from
Yeah.
Get
yellow
it,
bar
girl.
enemies. Yeah. Feels good, man. Power ammo feels good. The economy.
loosen your tie, man, and relax. We've talked about it.
It is loose.
There was also one other thing that got me. We didn't really talk about it. I don't think y'all talked about it last week. I think they started coming out like about the time the podcast hit last week, but all the little like 30-second trailers of each of the Vanguard characters, those are really awesome. Like,
I
and
haven't even seen those.
dude, they're easy to miss unless you're on like Instagram or some other form of social media. Like I feel like that's their core advertisement space for them. So
Are
they
you
don't
on
really,
Instagram?
yeah, I'm not on Instagram as Lego, but for like my business and stuff. But
Little Ladong Blade.
Take pictures. Take pictures of
That
food.
sounds like an X-rated Instagram.
but everything that they're putting out for those, they have one for Ikora and Cade, and Zavala, of course, but they've also got one for that new character.
Hawthorne.
Do what? Hawthorne.
Hawthorne.
Hawthorne,
Hawthorne's
yes.
awesome.
Dude, and her little
She's
30-second clip thing is awesome too. So you should definitely go check out those if you just want a little bit more hype. It's not live action hype, but they just do a really good job of showing the personality of each of those characters. So I think it's really awesome. I think it's worth checking out.
They did one for Gaul too, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
You're right. They did
Oh,
one for
sweet.
Gaul.
Gary.
Did you guys couple things that made me think of? Did you guys talk about Hawthorne at all before this?
No.
No.
Okay. And then the other thing, just speaking of Gary, did you notice in the live action trailer somebody was texting Gary?
Text was going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Um,
Gary was texting the person on the phone
Oh,
and said,
okay.
"You still up?" And then instead of exploding, it had the little emoji for an explosion.
But the other thing,
You're
the cool,
clever, man.
yeah, the cool line in the little I guess it was in that trailer. It was in something, but it was Hawthorne. And two things that were said in there that I thought were really cool. She said something to Cade about we're a lot better at this whole staying alive thing than you are, which I thought was really cool. Like
Right.
it kind of like showed off their badassness while also making fun of Guardians.
Yes.
And then Cade said something, "Are you sure you're not one of my hunters?" And she was like, "Yeah, I'm not a fan of capes." And then he said something, "Oh, that's a nice something.
Poncho.
That's a nice poncho you got there."
He's like, clearly, nice poncho.
I'm excited about that back and forth, between them.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
have
good.
to check these out now.
Dude, they're really good. And like, honestly, you're not.
It's not
just,
spoiler.
It
You're
just
not
gives
gonna
you
see anything that
gives
you
you a
don't wanna see,
taste
right?
of some of like Zavala. You already know, like Ikora, Cade. He's funny. But it was cool to see the Hawthorne one because it kind of did give you a little bit more insight to non-Guardians joining the fight, which I'm excited about. I want their help.
I think a lot of it even is pulled from trailers we've already seen. The way that they're portrayed is really cool in it. It has a lot of
What
personality.
was their hawk's name? Lois?
Louise, yeah.
Louise? Yeah.
Lois.
It's something with an L.
Mary?
Okay, so do y'all want to jump to the TWAB? Do you have anything else to talk about with the news or PC stuff? Anything you want to hit? I shouldn't ask that question. though.
You watch yourself there.
So, with the TWAB, there's so much stuff here. I'll just cover two quick things at the top before we jump into the really exciting stuff. They have some new. They just advertised the merch real quick in there, which they have a bunch of cool new T-shirts for D2 that look awesome. And then also, which I really wanted to hit on for a second, the Houston relief efforts that they're doing. As everybody here probably knows, there's been a huge Hurricane Harvey that hit Houston, which is really close to where I live. We got Resolute members there. We've got Rex and HTX both in the Houston area. And so just want to be praying for those guys. And also, if you can, they're giving away an emblem if you buy a pin for this specific event for the Bungie Foundation. They're doing like basically fundraising for Hurricane Harvey and disaster relief efforts. And so go get yours if you haven't. And if you're interested in helping out the relief stuff, Hove, you have something to say?
I also just decided right now that next week, maybe during the stream, we'll raffle off a pin and emblem.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
Because I bought one, and that seems like a good idea.
Boom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone wins.
I want to do whatever we can for this event because it really is like it's next to where I live, and I have an aunt and uncle that their house got flooded and they're having a baby soon. It's just like crazy stuff to be happening. People are just living their everyday lives, and it's like taking over all of Houston. Like there's so many people affected. It's ridiculous. Yeah,
I saw one like time lapse photo. And it was like, no, this is not a lake. And it looked like a lake, except there was a street sign, like a highway sign, like those really high, like 20-foot ones. And the water was all the way up to it. Like, that's absolutely insane.
Some of the photos have words fail me with some of the photos. And I think it's really cool that not only Bungie, but I mean, it speaks volumes for the community. My Twitter feed was just full of people saying, ordered mine today, ordered mine, or yesterday. And it's awesome. Do what you can, help, get a pin, you get a sweet emblem, everyone wins.
Absolutely. Well, on to, there is some really exciting stuff in the TWAB as well. Really, really exciting stuff. I know as soon as it came out, Hove was like, dude, you gotta check this out. You gotta look. There's some good stuff in there. And I was like, what is it? What is it? And then I had to like get through the 12 to even get there. But we got dates. We got dates for Nightfall, Raid, Trials. So pumped. But are you happy with where these dates landed? Like we got Nightfall whenever you can get to it. The Raid, September 13th, that's 1 week away from the launch date. And Trials, September 15th, 9 days away from the launch date, just 2 days after the Raid is available. With Trials,
I do just want to point out, before we get to community questions, that Tater asked our thoughts on this on Twitter, and Allison Metal, and I believe River asked in chat. So we're going to get to it now. That's all I wanted to say. I mean...
Okay. What do you think, Triton, about the dates? Did you save the date, man? You ready? Is a week enough time for you, or?
I mean, they are what they are. I don't really think like, well, I mean, the people that have to rush, they're gonna rush even if the date was a little bit longer. They're gonna still grind away to get the best possible gear. So I think what's nice is the fact that they are staggered. So as opposed to the dates themselves, Nightfall, so you can just maybe play the whole story. You'll be powerful enough to take on the Nightfall, maybe with a few other things. That makes sense to me. And then with the Raid being a week, I just think people were just chomping at the bit at that point. I don't remember when all of the other raids became available. I know Vault of Glass was definitely a little bit later after Destiny release, but I feel like for the other raids, they weren't that much farther away from the release. And then the fact that Trials is a couple days later, so it's not on the same day. I think that's nice that, you definitely people can concentrate on the raid for 2 days and then maybe jump into Trials. I think that having at least those two be apart was a pretty good idea. I'm not sure I'll participate in any of them, like to be in the world's first. So I don't think that that's something that affects me the same way that maybe somebody who's like absolutely gunning for that though.
Got you. You're kind of like working. Me and Lego had kind of said something about this. So like with Trials being light level enabled, you're kind of working towards that goal too. Even though you're getting raid ready, you're still trying to maximize your light as much as possible. And the raid could technically help you get ready for that, unless the raid weapons are just completely garbage in PvP. We don't know, but it is kind of cool that you can work towards the raid while also kind of working towards Trials, unless there's this one gun that you could only get from the Crucible. Then that's where I'll be, is trying to get that before Trials. Like the raid will be there. I've done every one of them on day one. Like it's a very cool experience, but I really want that edge in Trials this time around. I want to get ready for that more than I probably do the raid, to be honest.
What about you, Hove, Raleigh?
Go ahead, Riley, before you forget your thoughts, old man.
I'm not going to forget my thoughts. I think I made my thoughts clear in the Rezo chat. I just hope that they're, and kind of what Triton said, like, you don't have to rush to get ready for it. But my fear is that it's going to be too easy to get ready for it then. Sure, if you're somebody who has all the time in the world, took off of work, or your job is to play the game, or whatever, and you have the ability to get that light level up high enough to be able to participate in a week, then by all means. I just don't want to play moderately and then be ready already. You know what I mean? Like I don't want it to be that easy to get to that level, and I don't think it'll happen.
No.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to see that being the case. I almost feel like the way the loot system works currently at the end of D1, it's almost a little too easy. I'd like it to be a little bit more difficult. I just feel like it was so quick to progress as opposed to what we used to have, which I don't want, which was just a grind like crazy. But it did keep us really playing the game a lot, and I don't want to see that kind of go away. I want it to feel like accomplishing whatever in the game is, but I want to feel like I'm getting to a goal as opposed to just blowing through it and having no real challenges. I'm just basically blindly playing it till I get to a certain light level, you know?
Well, my thought on that is one thing to keep in mind. You were talking about how the loot and leveling system works as of the end of D1.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind that since we've gotten anything even close to the current leveling and light system, we haven't had a bigger light increase than
I mean, that's true too. I didn't discuss
Right.
that. Like it was you'd only moved up a few light levels
Yeah,
as
no,
opposed to 20 light levels.
Yeah, I think I think you have a valid point. I think that's something to keep in mind because that was originally my thought with why the raid released so early for like Wrath of the Machine, but we didn't have far to go.
Right.
I think even Taken King was only like what 50 light or something.
Yeah, I don't remember to be honest. I think it was only 40. I think it was 300 to 340.
That sounds right. So you got to think. I mean,
something like that.
It's got to be at least double a light. It's got to be at least 100. I would think.
Right.
Well, I think Lego could probably have, because he said that he deleted the character recently and started going through. So how does it feel from scratch?
Dude, from scratch, it went faster than I thought it was going to, but I'm still. So I think I'm actually at 380 now. That's without using anything from the vault. Like I had strictly used nothing from the vault because I wanted to see what it was like. And I put like quite a few hours into it. So it's hard to say, but it definitely took me just with my normal like playing time, like a week, like to get to 380, which would be about trials ready, So, and the trials thing came up on my screen, which was funny because trials isn't a thing anymore, but new players won't. I was like, are you serious? They're just putting that in my face right now. But I feel like that is going to be a good amount. Like you're not going to be at max light level unless you grinded like all day, several days, is what it feels like. And there were some things that gave me like huge boosts. Like there was some gun, a legendary, the Queen's sidearm that was like way higher in light level than anything else I had. And so that bumped me up a ton. And then I got an exotic from a quest, the Nova something, and all the
Mortis.
Nova Mortis, yeah, which was like my first exotic that I got, but it was way higher light level than anything else. And then whenever I had enough marks, I bought like some stuff from the vendors, which was all at 380. So that bumps you up immediately. So there's probably not going to be that.
I mean, that's a good point. Like
if that isn't there, then we'll see.
That's a good point. The exotic, like you said, I think it was the lowest it could go was a certain level. So I don't think it was going to go a lot lower. So that probably really did jump you up quite a bit.
Which is probably
kind of
a built-in mechanic to help new players.
Right, right.
And I think, isn't Bungie, like, with some of the missions now, like, you can kind of choose to see what rewards you'll get. So I think they're taking the fact that they don't want people to probably just mindlessly grind. They want you to be immersed in the story. But I think we have a little bit more choice in what we're doing, that if I'm a really good primary away from maybe leveling up my light, this mission will give you a primary as a reward, right? Aren't some of the things that they're doing in the game structure where you can kind of see that ahead of time? That may have been some of those, like, adventures or Lost Sector or something like that. So I don't think they want people to necessarily just blow through the game, ignore all the story, hit every adventure, and not feel like like the story's good, like this was worth the wait. I think they've kind of built in some things that will allow people to, okay, not have to grind to the point, because there are some people that may have played forever, but that first RNG in Destiny 1, like you may never have gotten that good primary, and so you were always low. Or you may never have gotten, I don't want to say Gallon, but you may never have gotten a piece of equipment. Now, I think you'll have the ability to do that. You may not have to grind as hard. You'll still have to play a lot, but I don't know if, I think the RNG will be a little bit more in your favor, as you'll get to kind of maybe direct it in some ways and not have to just kill yourself after a week. I feel like a lot of people, like Lego said, we're not gonna be at max, but you're not going to probably be like going in there with like a green chess piece hoping that one drops on like the first drop or something. I think people will be a little bit better off than that.
Go ahead, Hove.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say one other thing to add to that, just running through everything for the first time again. Getting your first exotic when you have nothing, like I barely even have legendaries that are worth using. And I went and did Prison of Elders for the first time, and you get a guaranteed exotic from doing it, which I forgot about. And so I popped open the chest and got a 4th Horseman that was like way better light level than anything else I had. And was like, oh my gosh, an exotic, you know? And I had that feeling again, like we're going to have that feeling again soon, but it'll be like for Destiny 2 and we won't even know what it's going to be. And it feels so rare to get an exotic now. The only ones I've got are guaranteed ones from my playthrough this week were the 4th Horseman, which I got automatically. And then I got the Nova Mortis and the Young Wolf's Howl sword that you get from the Iron Lord's quest. Oh, I take it back. I did get a second 4th Horseman from an Ingram. It was like a legendary Ingram turned into exotic. So I got one out of my entire playthrough up to 380 light. I got one exotic randomly, not in a quest. So I'm excited for that again alone. Like all discussion about light level aside and how quick it goes, like just the grind itself is going to be really exciting getting to that raid, especially if you're trying to get raid ready and you're like, oh, I got this, you know, oh my gosh, I can't believe, what is it? You know, we're not even going to know what it is.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm the most excited about is logging in the next day and seeing a friend in your fire team and you're like, where'd you get that? What is that? You know what I mean? Oh, dude, let me show you. You know, I got it over here and this is what it does. Check out the perks and this is what it's called. And that was the most magical part of D1 for me was what is this yellow weapon and, you know, where can I get more? You know, like where can I get the next best thing? And like I remember one of my buddies getting Hawkmoon on like day 4 of Vanilla Destiny. And we were just mind blown, you know. He's like, look how far I can shoot. You know, this is vanilla Hawkmoon.
Back when it was broken.
Yeah, you know, look how far this thing could shoot, you know, and I'm taking this thing into the raid and, you know, it performed awesome. I just can't wait for that
it was
magical
like data.
mystery.
Do you remember the answer to everything is Hawkmoon?
It was.
That was his,
Right.
his thing.
Then it was Fatebringer.
But going back real quick, as far as, you know, my thoughts on the dates, I think for the most part, I don't want to say I'm indifferent, but I'm okay with it. I'm not excited about it. I'm not upset with it. I'm glad it's not coming Friday, like right after release. But as we kind of said before, I think that only happened on the other ones because it was a smaller increase. I think a week's probably pretty good. I would have liked maybe the following Friday, like 10 days.
Yeah, the Friday would have been great.
But like Rally, what you were saying about, you know, not having enough, does that mean we're going to be raid ready by then?
No.
No. But I'm saying like you're worried that maybe there's not enough content to. Do you know what I mean? Like what you were saying.
I'm not worried about content, to be honest. I'm more worried about being able to level up quicker. Like I'm hoping that you can go through the story and not. And if you say, hey, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to grind through the whole story for this week or two, and finish it, I'm hoping that you're not raid ready by the end of that. Like I want to be able to still have to do strikes and do this and do that, still to have a little bit. I don't want to see it be just because then you could just literally sit down for 20 hours and grind through the story and be ready to go.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at, but I don't think it's going to be an issue in that way because I think Bungie knows the kind of people that are going to go for something like grades first and the kind of people who are just going to play the game at their own pace.
Right.
At a week, I think anybody who wants to be raid ready, regardless of where that puts you in the story, whether you have to keep grinding or whatever, those people are going to make sure they're raid ready and they're going to be going for worlds first.
I agree.
People like us, yeah, we play the hell out of the game, but I'm not seriously going to go for worlds first.
Yeah.
So whatever I get to by the time the raid comes out, that's great. I'll do what I have to do. But I think a week is a good time that anyone who really wants to do it. I mean, that's 7 days where if you're a streamer, a content creator, a journalist, someone that covers it, if that is what you do, like you have the time to make it happen,
Right.
even if you have to play like the whole week.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that if like say let's use Dado as an example. I mean, it's his job to play the game.
Right.
Let's say he sits down and plays for 10 hours a day for 5 days or 6 days, and he gets light level ready.
Yep.
I'm okay with that.
And if they get near the end and he goes, well, I'm going to pull 24, because remember, when we asked Triple, he was talking about the raid and how he was it was such a not bad experience, but he was so tired because he had stayed up the entire night before grinding to get to light level. Right. Those are the people that are gonna get to it no matter what it takes.
Right. Mm-hmm. And and those are the people that actually don't complain that there's not enough content then, because they're doing it to say, here's why I'm doing it. So I don't want the everyday person who plays it like us or whoever is saying, man, I'm out of content already, in 3 weeks.
Well, I do think
it can happen,
I don't want to say we're spoiled, because we've definitely have had lack of content at times. But I think a lot of people got to realize, like, what you get out of this game. Like most games, you get an 8 to 10 hour campaign and you're done.
Oh yeah.
We get a lot, and I'm not saying you, Rally. I'm not even, surprisingly, I'm not arguing with you. But it's just one of those things, like a lot of games, it's just you play the campaign. Yeah, you can keep playing it. You can get other stuff, but there's really nothing else to do. It's an 8 to 10 hour, 12 hour, whatever, and you're done. This is a game we played for thousands of hours. So
they're trying their best to have continual content. I mean, some of those things in like Patrol and stuff, like they've even come out and said like you will be rewarded for coming back. So I mean, you're always going to run out of content at some point per se, but I think they've done a lot of things. And to Ho's point, for $60, we're being playing this for probably 3 more years, right? And then the expansion. So then there's the PvP experience, which I think for most games adds a ton of longevity and replayability to it.
Absolutely.
So I'm pretty much in agreement with what everybody said. That there's people that want to get there. They don't really necessarily.
Right.
You got to imagine.
Point, don't come out and be like, "Oh, I'm gypped of stuff because I just blew through the game." So
I think
tell you're from Pennsylvania, Triton.
Gypped, yeah. I think you also have to consider the fact that they'll almost definitely have some hidden things that are time gated, with how big some of the stuff like Outbreak Prime, Sleeper Simulant, Black Spindle. Like when those things kind of popped up in the wild out of nowhere, those were like some of the biggest, most exciting moments we've had since the discovery of things at the beginning of the game. So I have to imagine there's going to be hidden stuff that doesn't come along.
They said there would be more Black Spindle.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that's cool. I like that.
When the whole community gets involved, I think that's awesome. So I'm pretty happy with most of it. I think the only issue I have at all, but I understand why they do it, is the Trials is coming out so close.
You don't like that?
I don't.
I don't like it either. I think it should have been another week at least.
But here's why I think it's okay. All of us here, even though we all skew, whether it be towards PvE or PvP, we all play both of them. We all want to play through the raid and play it, not just to get light level. We all play through Trials and PvP. There is a large section of the player base, and maybe we don't interact with them much because, as we've talked about, people who are on Twitter and have podcasts and everything, we're still the top, not top. We're a 10% maybe section of the player base. There's a lot of people that just play it by themselves or whatever. Maybe they don't care at all about the raid and they just want Trials.
They just want new PvP stuff.
And maybe there's people who don't care about the Trials at all, and they just want to do the raid and the PvE. So I see why they are coming out close, so that both kind of end game branches are out around the same time. But selfishly, for someone like me who wants to do both, I would like to have a week or two to mess around with the raid, the Nightfalls and everything, and then go into Trials. Because Trials is the kind of thing, if you're really into it, you play it for like almost that whole time.
Yeah, it's
Especially
true.
when it's new. That's all. But I see why they're doing it. As a company who has a large fan base, I get it. I can't complain about it.
I think you nailed
I can,
it. I totally,
but I won't.
I totally agree. Normally, I don't like to do the word for word, like, I agree, but I think you nailed it. Like, I'm okay with the whole raid thing, but it would be cool maybe to have another week. So it's not just like, fuck, we beat the raid, now let's go to the lit
and
house.
if you go in blind and you're not a team that's super raid ready and everything, you might not even finish that first day.
Yeah, you might be playing that all weekend.
Right.
Yeah, it took my group. When I was with Tower Life, it took us like 3 days. And like a lot of that was scheduling too. When you have 6 people and you start something and then you want to finish it with those 6 people because you started it. It's not that we, couldn't have found other people to get it done. It's just that we started it with those 6 people. We wanted to finish it with those 6 people, and it took us all weekend, and it was awesome. Like when we got through it, my neighbors must have thought somebody won the Super Bowl, and it wasn't even football. So, like it wasn't even going on. So like we were yelling and screaming. It was definitely a magical experience going into a raid blind and completing it with you and your friends. Like,
yeah,
definitely check it out if you can. Like,
yeah, I would suggest that to anybody, whether you're a PvE god or you never played it before. Do it blind. It's a lot of fun.
The one thing that I want to throw in real quick as far as the trial stuff is, like, I agree with most of what you're saying, and maybe like just a week back would probably fix a lot of those problems, but it's also something that could be really cool at a low light level to see power advantage actually matter. Like it would just, they always talk about like trials is a place where your power matters, like as far as Iron Banner and trials. And now it'll actually matter like big time really quickly. Like you should be able to tell a difference if everybody is at a different light level and everybody's using guns that aren't the meta. That's going to be the funnest trial to be playing, where there's everybody's using something different. No one's going to know what the good guns are, and so that'll make it really fun. So in that sense, I'm excited about it, but I get what y'all are saying about experiencing all the content. We may not want to be grinding trials or whatever, so
it's just, and I agree, and I agree with you completely, and I like I said, I get why they're doing it. I'm not going to complain about it, but it is funny because I'm pretty sure, whether we even were on doing the podcast yet or just talking, but when they for whichever expansion, when they didn't bring trials back for like almost a month,
yes,
and we like defended that, like, oh well, they don't need to bring out that stuff. There's other content, that could be something new later. And now, do you know what I mean? It's all kind of a perspective thing.
Which I would be fine if they didn't, but I think it's going to be interesting since they do. So
yeah, I just, like I said, I just, for me, I hope it doesn't get to the point where on the weekend I have to decide which one to do. That's all.
Yeah. Well, we also have on the plate Guided Games beta period coming out 9/12. So just before the raid comes out. Do what?
I don't even know what that is.
Guided Games?
Yeah, I didn't read into it at all.
So you know what Guided Games is?
Nah,
Guided Games is the system for
I've really been
who
ignoring everything, or ignoring all of it.
This is for the reveal, Rally.
Yeah.
I know, but I still didn't pay attention to a lot of that even.
So this is the thing that, someone who's just flying solo can jump in with a clan that needs like a spot for doing an activity like a nightfall or a raid, but they're not opening it up to raids or trials or anything like that right away. They're just opening it up for the nightfall on 9/12, and even in that, it's like a beta period. Like they're not, I guess they want to slowly introduce people to it, and so not everyone will get a chance to do it. I don't know if that's not every clan or not every person, but it's not going to be available to everyone. And they're just kind of doing a soft release is what they I think is the quoted term for it, on 9/12, and then it's going to be released for everyone for every activity, nightfall and raids, on 9/26, whereas the 9/12 date is just for nightfalls. So it looks, I don't really have any gripes against it. It's something completely new that we don't really know is coming out. I'm just curious how the soft release is going to actually happen, like who gets the opportunity and who doesn't to try it out. But that's pretty much it. That's my only thoughts on it. What about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, if there's a reason they're rolling it out slowly like that, I'm sure if they're doing it, there's a reason. So that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Did they announce something between when they kind of revised Guided Games and until now about that a little bit more? Because the soft release isn't what struck me as much as the fact that I think when they kindly finally clarified what guided games was post the reveal, that it was going to be limited to like Nightfall and Strike. So to see the fact that like I mean I hadn't seen anything where like the raids will be the second wave. I thought that was the one thing that everyone wanted to do, and when they first came out and talked about it, like more specifically, that wasn't something they were doing. So I guess maybe I missed some release here, but I was actually pretty excited that raids were on it. I mean, soft release, whatever. I was pretty excited.
They definitely talked about it because I think we had to clarify one episode. You may not have been here. I'm not being a smartass. You must have just not been here.
Okay, no, because I could have definitely missed that release.
Because originally, do you remember we were kind of upset that it wasn't going to be in raids,
right?
And we found out it wasn't going to be in heroic, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
And we were like, well, that makes sense. People have already played the raid. They should have put together some sort of team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
no
it kind of
trials though, like at all.
I know. I noticed that too.
I wouldn't want it for trials. I don't think.
What? No, I feel like that's like the main trials carries. Like that's the thing.
Game 1, game 2. Going in with a bunch of people who just match made, that'd be awesome.
That would be so much, especially people who have never been flawless before. That's like one of the funnest experience. The most fun you can have, like in the game for me, is like playing with randoms, bringing them into trials.
I mean, I guess you could,
Host
like
says
it would be just as easy, if not easier, I guess, if you were to be in a PvP match to say, hey, there's 4 of us here. Do you guys want to go do a card or whatever, versus being out in the wild and finding in a patrol zone and finding 5 other guardians to go raid with you.
Very true.
Because there's not really any other activity that gives you 6 guardians other than the raid. However, PvP does give you that. Those will match you with 3 other people, and if you like them good enough, invite them to a party, hang out with them. If you guys are playing good, check out their personality and then dive in. So yeah, I guess you're right. I just thought it would be funny from in a vindictive sort of way.
No, I'm mostly kidding though, because, and again, from the Bungie developer company side of it, their goal is to get more people to play the things that they make. So people are either going to just say, well, I don't have anyone, I'm not going to play it, or they'll go to an LFG outside of the game. So this gives them kind of an LFG inside the game. So not only will the people who are going to go LFG stay on their guided games, but it may bring in someone who doesn't know about things like LFG, websites. So no, I mean, I get it from their point of view. They want more people to play the stuff they make. That's why they do what they do, and that's fine.
Yeah. Well, cool. Their one last thing from the TWAB that I found really interesting was we already talked about the decryption thing because you talked about the tweet.
I forgot that was in the TWAB.
No, it's fine. So that was really the only other thing from the TWAB that I found interesting, which I still love the decryption thing. And there are a few other notes about it that he threw in there where like that it immediately, as soon as you get the engram, that's when it determines its light factor. Like what, and you can actually preview it. If you go to inspect the engram, it says this will be light level so-and-so, like when you decrypt it. So that's cool. I guess more info, the better, but
wait, it tells you the light level or what it's actually going to be?
The light level.
Yeah, the light level.
Okay. Yeah.
It didn't tell you
scroll over it and it'll say light level 160.
Mm-hmm. Oh. And they give you a little image preview of that in the TWAB. So that's cool.
I'm okay with that, yeah.
Yeah. Still have to get it decrypted, but it's cool. And I think that is about it for the TWAB, but we had a ton of community questions, and we definitely want to get to some of those.
So before you do that, Leo, I just want to ask one question of everybody else quick.
Yeah.
So nope, you don't run this podcast.
Just one question. It's just one question. It's actually a legitimate question.
Oh, I know what question this is.
Do you?
I have a guess.
No, you don't. No.
Okay.
I want to know what your thoughts are on whether Zor should be back or not. And if so, how should it be handled? Like, I have a whole thought process of how I'd love to see it handled. I know there's no way in hell that's the case, but I just want to see what you guys think, because it as Destiny 1 winded down, Zor became kind of, who cares? But at the beginning of it, it was a big thing. Like, people were like, where's he at? What's he have? I need to go and grind and get some strange coins so I can go buy new gear. What is your guys' thoughts on it? If he even comes back. I mean, he may not come back.
So I'd be fine if he came back and offer like I just don't want him to offer exotic stuff. I know that's his thing in D1, but if it was a community thing where he was offering like different rolled other things, like that would be great. I know that's a very different opinion than most people probably have, but I thought the whole like that method of getting exotics just wasn't as enticing for me. Like having them drop randomly was just so much more exciting than picking them up from Xur. So I don't know. That's just my personal
So you'd rather
preference.
have people earn it, not Xern it?
Well,
Oh, don't put that
I'm
out
kidding.
there.
I know.
I'm kidding. No, yeah, I wanted
Are
to
we
come
on
back.
BNet right now?
I don't judge people for getting.
I was just kidding. I just wanted to
I
throw
know.
that little meme out there.
Oh, Lego froze.
I'm okay with him coming back, and whatever he decides to sell, I'll buy. So
He's selling, Wilson's buying.
Yeah, he's holding, I'm buying, you know. I want all the
my
good
God.
stuff. I want
Um,
exotics, legendaries. That would be cool to see something other than exotics.
I think I'm mostly okay. I think if he came back in pretty close to his current form, I mean they've tweaked him a little bit with most expansions, but I think it's important to remember that Xur, for the most part, isn't there for players like us.
Yeah.
He's there for the very casual, the ones who maybe they don't have time to go for everything that gives them a chance at an exotic every week. So,
I mean, that's how he is now. I mean, he didn't start that way necessarily. He was there basically.
yeah, but it was still like the people like us who do play it a lot are still always going to have that option to go buy the stuff.
Right.
But he's there for the people who don't do it as much.
Okay.
We can still take advantage of it, but you know, maybe if we didn't play that much and maybe that was the only way you were probably going to get an exotic every week.
I mean, I could kind of you could also say that it's for the beginning players, but it could also be for the end game players, man. If you're chasing one more exotic or one more thing, I still know people who don't have transversive steps for Warlock. You know, like, granted,
Yeah.
you're not missing out on much. Like, yeah, the only time that you're really going to use them is during the raid when you're carrying all that heavy shit through the big Zamboni up on top.
Yeah.
But it does serve a purpose for both players, in my opinion. Like I said, I still know people who want those Warlock boots because they're the only damn pair of exotic Warlock boots in the game, and they want them, and they look awesome.
Well, I do see that, but I think that side, on that end of the spectrum, I agree with Lego. That's really the point where if they finally drop, when they drop, that's like the most exciting thing that happens in Destiny. Oh my God, I finally got them. Yeah, it sucks if, you know, it's the end of Destiny 1 and you haven't gotten them, but is it really going to be any cooler to say that you bought the very last thing you needed? You know what I mean?
But it's going to be cooler to use it than to not use it. You know what
Nobody,
I mean? Like,
no, it's not cool to use transversive steps.
Oh, it is, absolutely. Like, everyone wants to say OP aspects in PvP. You don't have to reload if your boots do it for you.
Oh my gosh.
Or if you're a hunter.
Well, I'm talking D1. Like, reloading.
I think I'm gonna stick to my guns and say, like, even with the people who like can't do as much time, you know, like put as much time into the game, because I've been at those points in my life too, and I feel like I would still rather it just drop randomly. Just personally, like that's how I that's where I get the excitement out. Like Hove's saying, like if it took forever, then that makes that drop that much more exciting. I'll remember that as long as I can get it from any activity randomly somehow. That's like key.
Yeah, I know you said like you've been there, but you're still someone that, you know, even if you weren't quite as involved as you are now, you were still someone who obviously, like, for instance, you sought out, you know, you do YouTube stuff. You sought out getting into a clan. Like, there's people that know nothing about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Who just play this game a day, like an hour maybe a day at most, and know nothing about the stuff that we even talk about every day.
Yeah.
So I think it's a double-edged sword. I think it's good for them and kind of lame, in my opinion, for just people just going to buy stuff just to buy it. But as we've learned, Bungie is always going to side with helping the casual player and making it maybe too easy for a hardcore player, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Triton, any thoughts?
Well, don't don't have 3 of coins right off the bat, right? I mean, don't
Well,
do that.
right.
I hope they don't have them at all.
Yeah, I
You
don't
want to
know.
talk about lame? 3 of coins was lame.
So
Sorry,
I mean, I don't
Trevor.
want to get into that, but obviously,
Gonna sell Galley first week.
rework them to some degree. I think Lego brought it up. We've brought it up a lot of times on the show, just in general. Like a lot of times, even the ideas we throw around, usually they do something that's like, oh, okay, this is so much better than maybe what we planned out. I expect them to do that, but just given kind of how he fits in the lore, I do also expect him to be back. I mean, just because.
I heard something about a different Agent of the Nine. That's all I know.
So with the Agent of the Nine, maybe some other one of the other agents come out. But I mean, just because he was connected, I expect him or someone in that same vein to be back. And I'm sure they'll rework him for the best. I don't really have a ton of ideas. I can see both sides. I mean, you really can, between whether or not he's good and for who he's good for and that type of thing. So I think at the end of the day, they'll do something like that, but it probably won't be as probably not necessarily be what we think, and probably be something that we end up being pretty satisfied with. And I'm sure they'll have lessons learned for how his trajectory goes throughout the game.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I want more story about the 9 and who they are, and maybe the first time he comes around, I have to do some sort of a quest for him, be a trash collector of the 9. I don't know, but
yeah, that'd be cool. Maybe you have to like unlock him or something like that. That'd be kind of cool.
Or just hey, you know, I haven't seen you in a long time, but you got to do this for me before you can buy something from me, something like that, and it happens to be a fleshed out quest that gives you just a smidgen of who the 9 are. I want the mystery. That's part of the cool thing about them. But I'd like to know a little bit about them, like why are they capturing Skolas and letting them go, and what are their motives?
Yeah. I'll make my answer quick for it. I would love to see it, and I know this is never going to happen, to be extremely random. And by random, I mean one day shows up for an hour and nobody knows where, and maybe only 100 people find him. And then he doesn't show up for another week, but then the next week he shows up 3 or 4 times somewhere, just very random. I'd love to see him just be all over the place, anywhere he could show up, not a specific area, and you have no idea where he is. And if somebody tweets out that, hey, I saw Zora here an hour ago, and you go there, he may not still be there. He may be done already.
Actually, I think that'd be really cool. Yeah.
He'll be wherever I'm
not.
See
that happen. Right. I just happen to see that there's probably no way to do that. That'd probably be an algorithm that would be just way too much effort and work. But that'd be
amazing.
In my mind, really cool.
Yeah, no, I actually agree with you.
If he could just spawn like where the enemies are planned to spawn in the patrol zones, if he could just randomly spawn in
That's exactly
one of those, my gosh.
Yeah, I envision it being somewhere where you can go and do patrols, and it's just random, and it's no set time for no set length. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 2 hours, it could be 5 hours, but it's always random and always different. So yeah, he's here, and he's here for 5 minutes ago, but it doesn't mean he's going to be there for all the people going looking for him now. He could be gone now.
I like it.
I like it a lot.
I think the biggest reason that I don't think it would happen is if we're correct in why they have Zur. Then that would
I don't envision something like that either.
Right,
I think that would be amazing.
But going from the fact that Zur's there to kind of help people who can't get that stuff, that's not going to help them at all, which is why they wouldn't do it.
I think another reason that they have Zur is for the community shared where is he kind of thing, and when you see people gathering, and anytime that Bungie gets a chance to throw that into the game, this Rally's version of it would just be insane. How people would tweet out about it, and there'd be all this hype around him being at this random spot. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it would be awesome if everybody be looking for him, and he could be there for who knows how long. You don't really know.
Who would really hate that? YouTubers who post their weeklies or videos.
But think of the story they could tell about that.
Yeah, be pretty good.
So,
pretty cool.
I like the idea. I just don't. You're right. It won't happen.
Yeah, no, there's no way in hell it'll happen.
So, community questions. We have quite a few. I don't know if we'll ask all of them.
You could basically make them all the same question. The way
they're all pretty close. They're
So let's do some of them here real quick.
Am I doing them or is Wilson doing them?
I would love for you to do them, Hove.
Yep.
I kind of vote Wilson, but okay.
You want to take turns, Wilson?
Nah, go ahead, buddy. This is all you, man. You're the Twitter boss.
This is actually the part I was most nervous about. I was like, Hove isn't here. I'm gonna have to figure out how to read these questions and blah blah.
I would have
blah.
done it for you, but he's here.
Okay, we're gonna try to make all of these fairly quick because we are pushing
that's
a long episode here. This one
awesome.
is yeah, no, I love it, but Lego gets mad when we talk too much. This is one that could be a really long answer. Let's try to keep it short. Brand new Rezo member, Filthy Yam Yam, asks.
Oh, by the way, real quick. So I want to give a huge shout out to all the new Rezo members out there. The floodgates have opened, and we talked
They've
about
closed
Wilson
again now.
here, but
Yes, they
they're
close again.
Yeah, they're close again. But I'm not gonna name. There's like a ton of them, and you need to go to Team Rezo right now, Team Resolute on Twitter, and look at all of those wonderful people we have, because there's seriously so many to mention. They're all like my favorite people in the world.
I was so excited with
so
these
excited.
additions.
And so I can't even contain my hype right now. But welcome all the new Team Resolute members. We love each and every one of you.
Ask Wilson. I was like a middle school girl who just got asked to the dance.
I could see the screaming and dancing
I
around
was
already.
so excited. Like
Sam came into the room several times and was like, Hove is ridiculous. And I'll be like, no, it's all good. He's excited about it. And she's like, no, and I think she used the same analogy that you did, was
really
like a girl that got asked out to the prom for the first time.
Pretty much.
I felt that way too. I just didn't want to let on, is all.
Yeah, you're too cool. So anyway, Yam asks, what are you looking forward to most in Destiny 2, and what are you going to miss the most from Destiny? Also, Rally's old as fuck.
To be honest, I'm not going to miss anything from Destiny. I am done. I'm officially happy with being done. I am going to do the raid race this Sunday, I guess, with Yam and a couple others.
This answer's way too long.
I'm getting to it. And for the Destiny 2 part, I'm just excited to really start playing with everybody again. Like, yeah. I mean, yeah, a lot of us still play, but I played with so many more people, and I'm excited to be doing that again. I'm old as fuck.
I'd say, theoretically, I won't miss anything from Destiny, because if it was good enough that I still want it, we'll have something like it in Destiny 2. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Destiny 2, just the story, man. I want to see where it goes. I want to see what happens. I want to play it out.
I am going to miss Rumble. Like, there's just no getting over it. Like, I just really like being able to play by myself. That's like my zone. And so I'm really bummed it's not going to be in D2. I'm like Hove, I'm sure there'll be other things I want to do, but I'll still miss Rumble. That's just always been my thing. As far as what I'm excited for most, I think I'm with Hove. Like, story is like, I just want to know and I want to experience it. It's twofold: story and exploration. That's my short answer.
I feel like those go hand in hand too.
Yeah, exactly.
Without repeating the answer, obviously I'm excited about new story and stuff like that. But what I'm gonna miss in Destiny 1 is all the good memories, man. Some good memories, and what I'm looking forward to the most in D2 is starting new memories. New memories with a new clan, because I'm one of those new people that just got in. So it's really looking forward to that. So not only is it a new game, it's just a completely new chapter. Like, period. I'm very excited about it.
Dude, seeing that clan roster list all the way filled out when we hop on the first day, that's going to be awesome.
Overwhelming. It's going to be amazing.
Not as overwhelming as Discord, though.
That's true.
Yeah, oh my gosh. It's so overwhelming right
now. Let's see. Well, I'm going to miss him, and this could be still happen in D2, but I'm going to miss sixes. I know that sounds funny, but to me, just based on I won't say the amount of friends I had, but the people that I'd consistently game with, we just jump in sixes for a couple hours, like every Sunday. It was Tuesdays for a while. So, I mean, they probably will have something like that down the road, I would think. But yeah, I'm probably going to miss sixes, mostly control. And then in terms of what I'm looking forward to Destiny 2, I'm going to kind of stay with Wilson's theme a little bit, but just kind of reconnecting with people in Destiny. That's probably what I miss the most about Destiny 1 in some regards. I think on that side of things. So to be able to reconnect with people and in Destiny 2, sometimes it's, it's a great community we have, but I think if you go away for like 3 months, people just assume you died. So it's certainly be nice to jump back in there and get to play with some of the people that I experienced a lot of the things for the first time when Destiny 1 expansions and things would come out.
So are you going to be like, you have a cast on right now from surgery, right, Triton?
Mm-hmm.
So are we going to be like cutting that off and doing a giveaway for like signed REZOcast cast?
It's the Rezo fast.
Oh my goodness.
Puns
It's not like
have been
completely a cast. It's more like
horrible.
a splint just wrapped in a bunch of ace bandages. But I am getting it off the day the game comes out. So
That's amazing.
Perfect.
asked this orthopedist multiple times if like will I be able to play this game like immediately? I was like, is there any type of physical therapy or anything whatsoever? Like I should be able to go right away. So
Voice
Nice.
controls.
You'll be better. That's the operation he had, actually, was to make his hand better so he'll achieve greater good in the Crucible.
So he'll be even better. We have the
Yeah.
better, improved Triton.
Mm-hmm. Triton 2.0.
Can't be worse than Triton 1.0.
The beta was a little buggy.
Next question. Rezo Monk. This is one of my favorites. This one's for Rally. He wants to know if Rally will be going from regular to extra thick adult diapers so he can play longer on release day.
I mean, realistically, if I could sport the Depends and just sit and not have to move and just go, then so be it.
It's a good idea for all of us, really.
I love that theoretically, but I also really love food.
Well, yeah, but I have a wife. I can have her bring me food.
I have to agree with Rally. I'm going right now.
And he was not wearing them.
Going. Yeah, Wilson forgot his.
Forgot.
He has a hole under his seat.
Okay. Nava Bear asks, why do you put up with Hove's bad PUBG play so much? Also, what is going to be your focus going into D2, i.e. characters, exotics, raid ready?
None of them, really. I'm just going to play the play and go through the story.
Well, so that would be your focus, is just the story.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, that's going to be the focus. That's the best. That's the best part. Everything else is going to be great, and we'll enjoy it. But I really am looking forward to something new. And
I
as
just
far
want
as
to
the
point
PUBG
out for anyone who thought that Rally was badass, his wife just said in chat, "Whoa, hey, I am not domesticated." So pretty much it was "fuck you, Rally, get your own
make
food."
me a mean 12-year-old's dinner. So chicken nuggets, mac and
TV
cheese,
dinner.
things like that. Those are all perfect for gaming. So hence,
Cosmic brownies. I mean,
right? Bring me
they're
some
all
Pop
amazing.
Tarts,
Yeah.
whatever. You know.
With the question, I feel like I'm with Rally, like the story first, but after that, I feel like grinding for legendaries is going to be a priority for me. I don't know about y'all, but like if there's a certain, like Wilson was saying, if there's a gun in the Crucible that is like really good, I'm going to go look for that gun.
I think for me, it's going to be story, Lost Sectors, raid, then trials. And gun I'm looking for, I really enjoyed Better Devils for PvP, and for PvE, I really enjoyed the Sunshot.
Yeah, I did too. For
Training?
PvE.
I'm actually not sure. Well, my plan is going to be, we'll hopefully play with you guys on day one, and I'm sure we'll go through the story together or something like that. Okay, well, not Ho. I didn't mean Ho. I said you guys. I meant like mostly like Wilson's now replacing you. So it's like, well, Wilson, Lego, that makes sense because he'll probably remember that he played with us. So I'll probably do that at the beginning. But honestly, I'm not sure what the plan will be because I think what I'm really excited for is the fact that both of my kids, because the game's been out for 3 years, now both really want to play Destiny 2 and they're super
Nice.
excited.
That's cool,
So
man.
just to kind of do whatever when they get home from school, they're going to want to play and maybe it's story or maybe it's whatever. You know, I'm just kind of open to anything because they've both been super pumped to finally get to play Destiny and Destiny 2.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is cool. Mine, I would say probably just story campaign first. But I think I'll probably play through it at least twice, maybe 3 times before I really worry about anything else. Only because,
Really?
well, because I want to do at least maybe
Every
not the whole
character?
way through, but I want to do like right at launch. I'm gonna stream it by myself, or I mean, with if any of you guys are on then. But really just to get into it and just be immersed in everything and be completely silent and play through it. Then I'd like to do one, maybe with, if it's not with you guys the first time, with some of you guys or some other people in Resolute. And then I'd also like to do one just like goofing around on stream with viewers, whatever, something like that, just to have some fun. So we'll see how much of that I get through. I do have off 5 days. But as soon as that's done, my next thing is probably raid ready, but not in like a grindy type of way. Just I want to be able to play the raid within the first, like legitimately ready within the first day or two, so that I don't feel like I have to completely avoid Discord and
Right.
Twitch and everything. So I don't care that if I'm ready right at release, because I won't be. I think I have to work that day. But I'd like to be able to play it that night or the next day so that I can still experience it blind without having to purposely avoid everything.
Yeah, you're gonna have to like not get on Twitter if you're gonna avoid, because there's gonna be screenshots, videos, like everything.
I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm pretty good at not paying attention to things I don't want to pay attention to.
Okay.
All right. Next question. Another new Rezo member, Dirty Root. What is everyone planning on doing first? Explore PvE or jump right into boots to ask PvP? I think we all kind of answered that. We're gonna do PvE.
I think so. Yeah, it's PvE.
Yeah. Apex Chris would like to know if he can borrow your Evo, Rally.
Not mine, so borrow away.
All right, deal.
Evo in the picture is not mine. It's a friend of mine who lets me drive it.
Another new Rezo member, Gabe HTX, in all caps, says, "Does it help when I type uppercase so you can read a little better, Gramps?"
It does.
It does. Okay.
Just means you're yelling at me because I can't hear either.
Yeah, so it's like twofold.
Do you have a Jitterbug cell phone? The one with the giant
I just have
numbers
one that just has one button that says home.
This is a really good one. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. No, it's okay.
No. You finish.
I was just gonna ask Rally. Like how on your phone you can make the text like really, really big. Do you do that yet? Do you like?
No, I don't do that. You notice that I look younger than almost everybody in this here right now. I'm just gonna say that right now.
You don't look that young just because you're wearing a backwards hat. Listen, all right.
For anybody listening that doesn't know like us and Rally and our relationship with Rally, we're just totally like making fun of him. He could beat all of us up. Looks like super young, and
he doesn't look that young. Listen, that just shows how old he is. That he thinks that because he's wearing a backwards hat, that means he's like a whippersnapper.
I just didn't want to have my hair cut looking like my PUBG character.
Listen to Hope. Just because he takes Metamucil and Geritol doesn't mean that he still can't whip your ass.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, there it is. Rally looks like a emo kid.
Just PUBG character.
Just like my PUBG character.
Living it.
He does look just like his PUBG character. Next question. I really am curious about the answer to this. Calmine, you have to answer this completely honestly.
It's fine.
If you had no choice and one of the hosts of this podcast would get to drive your BMW M3, who would it be and why?
It would be Lego because he'd be fearful that I would crush him.
It's true. I would be fearful and I'd be super careful anyway.
Actually, the better question I should ask is any of you know how to drive a stick?
No, I don't, so you probably shouldn't let me.
Hove can drive a stick.
Oh,
a couple like two sometimes.
Can confirm.
So most likely nobody can drive it then.
I could grind that shit. I'll grind it till
I
I
could
find
like
it,
mess
dude.
up the clutch so bad.
I'm really disappointed, Rally. I thought we had like a car bond going.
Hey, you came in the winter, man. We didn't even get to drive it like out at all.
I know.
And you realize, by the way, the last part of that is anybody that wants to drive it actually has to go through my wife first. So you think dealing with me is bad with that car?
I feel like Kelly would be okay with it.
You might be wrong on that.
Kelly? Oh, wait, she said my BMW M3.
Yeah, I don't think she agrees.
See?
Come on, Kelly. We got along so
saying.
well. All right, next question. Graves, why is Rally so grumpy?
Because Graves asks stupid questions.
Okay. We covered the trials and raid from Tater. We already talked about the live action trailer. Beautiful Dust. What are your feelings on avocados? This is important.
I don't like avocados. I'm not a fan. I don't mind guacamole sometimes, but not a fan of avocado.
What?
I'm trying to think of when you have avocados. Like you don't eat it like a pear or anything.
Subway tried that push
on sandwiches.
on everything.
On a sandwich with chips.
I'm just not. It's just not. I mean, it's better than ketchup on a steak.
I guess like where I live, you put avocados on everything. Like down here in the South, it's just like, oh, you want a salad? Just use avocados. You need dressing. Just use an avocado. It's great. It's awesome.
You're weird.
I'm gonna go with no.
Yeah. Notice the smallest.
I don't think no is the
avocado
proper
is
answer to
great.
the question.
Am I a fan of them? Like, or
No, what are your feelings on avocados? No.
No.
No. Just no.
Yes, my feelings are yes.
It's a safe word. No.
I'm with you,
I don't want
Wilson.
'em.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And final question. This one is completely not like any of the other ones. JLH wants to know, will Rally answer questions or just grumble like a grumpy old man?
No, I answer questions. I'm not always grumpy and grumbly, just sometimes.
wait,
Actually,
wait.
most of the time I'm not. It's just a assumed thing that I think I am.
Did you say that there was a question from River Tamcat too from chat, or am I making that up? Like,
No, that was her and Allison, and in chat asked the same question that Tater asked on Twitter, and it was about our thoughts on the release of Raid and Trials.
gotcha. Okay, just trying to make sure we had that covered.
Do we have time for any from chat? There's only one or two.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Botbuster, since PvP went to 4v4, why don't you think they also moved regular PvE to 4-man fire teams?
I personally think that would have been a great move. I think strikes could have been 4 people. I think patrols could have been 4. I think that would have been a much like they want to pull people together and have them play together. I think that would have been a move and just had 4v4 all across the board with the exception of the raid. But that's just my thought.
I don't. I think they would have had to change too much, like the way.
Yeah, they're absolutely
balancing.
Balancing the way they design encounters. Blah 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 blah. I think it works in PvP because it's always going to be one amount of people versus the same amount of also human beings. So they can make it 100 versus 100. It doesn't matter.
It would have been a lot of changes, but they did work on it for however many years it could have been something that would have been priority with it too.
Yeah.
But is it a problem? No, absolutely not. But it would have been pretty cool to see.
So I have one other thought on this, and that is that it's kind of cool that there's an activity for however many players you have now. Like if you have just yourself, you can play the patrol or whatever.
That's
up
true.
to 3 people, you can play story missions or strikes, whatever. And then once you have 4, you're like, oh, well, let's go play Crucible. We have 4 now. And then just up it a little bit more to 5, 6, you can do the raid. So 5's kind of like the one awkward number. But other than that, you're pretty much golden to play any activity with like doing something with however many people you have, which I think that's kind of cool.
I'm wondering if we'll be able to, sorry, real quick, if like me, Hove, and Rally were to team up, and then Lego, Triton, and Sam, if we could all meet in Patrol, because me and Sam are on the same network. You know what I mean? Like that used to work for the tower when like trying to get massive amounts of people in the same tower or whatever.
I feel like it would work.
We'll find out. We should try it. It'd be cool.
This is definitely something we're gonna have to try.
One more. Tucson. I hope I'm saying your name right. I'm sorry, I'm terrible at English. I feel like I know everyone's answer to this, but he wants to know, is the PC release delayed because they are adding polish or to work everyone up into a frenzy?
Polish.
Yeah, I think they just want to get it right, man.
Yeah,
it would be a
so too.
really, really big blow. Even before seeing now how hyped everyone is for PC, it would be a really, really big blow to the game if it came out and they shit the bed.
Right.
Because the PC crowd would just leave.
Yeah, there was a few little glitches here and there in PC. I felt nothing like major. Like I had some issues where it would jump out of, and I think it was server issues where it would just jump out of an activity and I jump right back in it, and it would just go black screen for a little bit. But it was only maybe the first day or so, and that seemed to kind of go away after that. So I would bet that it's mostly just to make sure everything's right and make sure everything's really solid and strong and ready to go.
And who knows? Maybe it's even things like, hey, this is when the beta was ready, and now they, just for instance, they see this whole aim assist controller thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's the kind of thing maybe they wanted to see what it was like and get a beta out. But I mean, right now it feels great.
Not only
everyone's optimized really, really well. You can play it on, a potato.
You were saying too, like how we really need to get it right for that PC crowd. Once the PC beta came out, it was #1 on Twitch Stream.
It was huge.
A while, like it was blowing up. So that was pretty awesome to see how much hype it was getting. Imtash was playing with Dr. Disrespect and a bunch of crazy shenanigans going on. It was pretty cool.
Ninja was playing it and everything I saw, he said he loved it. It's great on PC. Summit. Same thing, Lyric, Dr. Disrespect. I mean, that's some of the biggest names in streaming. And a lot of them are variety guys. You're not going to see them, No Life Destiny for 3 years. But that's still a lot of new fans they're going to bring in. That's a big deal.
Big deal, yeah.
As much as we hate to say we hate to see Bungie, cater to streamers or anything, business-wise, if those people are going to play the game, you have to nail it. You can't have the biggest streamers in gaming trashing your game.
Yeah. Just wait for that Angry Joe review in before.
Yeah, I'm curious.
He totally stole my thing.
No, you're just never mind.
Old and angry.
Well,
I guess that's about it.
Yeah. Well, this has been REZOcast episode 49 with Rally and Wilson filling in as well. We really appreciate these guys coming on. This has been Lego, aka Legole Flash. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube at Legole Flash. Hove, where can they find you?
All the same places: Twitter, Twitch, YouTube.
You do
you porn?
You do
you do you,
and I'll do YouTube.
Oh my god. All of them at Hove76. HOV76.
Triton?
Yep, all the same places, all under Triton Please, the please being PLZ. How about you, Rally?
Twitter. I think my Twitter's DRES74. And I think once in a great while I stream, but it's not often, so it's not really worth mentioning.
Yeah. No, you should definitely check it out. Wilson, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter, Ryu Wilson, that's RYU Wilson, and you can find me on Twitch, Wilson309.
Nice. You can also find more about Team Resolute at Team Resolute. I stole Hove's line there, but you can also find REZOcast at REZOcast on Twitter. And we've got a Team Resolute website up now too, which is awesome. You should definitely check that out. It's been a lot of fun seeing everybody up there and all the new additions too. It's been fun. But yeah, that's about it. You guys got anything else? I think that's it.
I do want to say, since I kind of threw it out there quickly, I did actually decide on the spot there. Next week during the podcast, we'll run a little raffle. I'm going to raffle off the new pin and emblem code for somebody for, the 50th episode. So
sweet. So come hang out. Next week's a big one. Really appreciate you guys coming by tonight on chat. Anybody's listening on iTunes, YouTube,